Alright, it's Henry again, and this is my review of the 1 to 100 scale Vayeate. And if you saw the work in progress videos, you'll know that this is a scratch built kit that I made myself using a lot of parts from my 1 to 100 scale Virgo, recasting those, and then making some new parts, modifying a few parts, and then recasting the parts that I modified until you've got this. Now, most of this is resin, but some of the stuff like the backpack, for example, and some parts of the beam cannon are plastic. But most of this is resin, seeing as how most of it's been recast because I needed to copy all of it. But, as you can see, this is what the kit is going to look like without paint at all. So let's go ahead and give this guy a nice coat of paint and continue on with the review. And after painting, this is what the Vayeate ends up looking like. With its blue color scheme, the body is exactly the same as the Mercurius, with the exception of the antenna on the top. The only difference is the colors and the weapons. So, for those of you who haven't seen Gundam Wing, Vayeate and Mercurius were made side by side, and were made to be the maximum offense and maximum defense possible on a mobile suit, with Mercurius being maximum defense with its planet defensor system, and Vayeate being maximum offense with this enormous beam cannon. Now, as far as stuff that comes with the Vayeate, he really doesn't come with all that much. In fact, his one and only weapon is the giant beam cannon on his back. Give him a couple of hands for holding it, a right trigger finger hand and a left open hand so he can hold it up under the barrel of the beam cannon. Here's the energy cable for the beam cannon. And I honestly felt kind of bad for him because Vayeate, Mercurius I mean, has the planet defensors and the crash shield and the beam gun and the energy shield and all that stuff. And all Vayeate has is just his one beam cannon. So, in that case, I decided to make Vayeate a little bonus accessory. If you remember the episode in Gundam Wing when Wing Zero first appeared, and it fought against Mercurius and Vayeate, half of Vayeate's body was blown off by Wing Zero's buster rifle, so I made an extra torso that's pretty much charred and burnt off on one side, kind of as a bonus accessory. I just swap out the head and the right arm and right leg, and then have almost sort of a little diorama piece for that episode where Vayeate was blown up. So now on to the articulation. The articulation and posability is exactly the same as it was on my Mercurius kit because they're both have the exact same body. The only real difference is that on the shoulder joint I added a special, it's called roll swing joint, made by Yellow Submarine. That'll just allow the shoulder to move a bit forward, a little bit more than Mercurius anyway, for better handling of the beam cannon. So I think having these special shoulder joints is pretty much the only way he's going to be able to hold that beam cannon with two hands. Anyways, you can see the shoulder armor is attached with magnets, just like it was on the Mercurius. The head is on a ball joint, so it can go side to side, forward and back a little bit, not much. Rotate, a little bar in front of the neck gets in the way a little bit. And then he's got rotation at the torso, but because of this backpack back here, it's really kind of limited, so he's not going to be able to rotate very much. Anyway, arms can go up and down, forward and back, as you just saw, 360 rotation. 360 below the shoulder. The elbows are pretty much a full 180 degree bend. Wrists are on a ball joint. Let's see, the hips are equally as bad on Vayeate as they were on Mercurius. As you can see, they're coming out as we speak. But the posability is pretty much the same. They can go forward. They can't go back very much because of that backpack, like I said. And then you've got the 360 below the hip. The knee joints are pretty much a full 180-degree bend. And then the ankles are on a ball joint, so I can go forward and back and side to side and rotate ever so slightly. Ankle armor is loose and floats as well. And I don't know, the Vayeate's hip joints seem to be a little bit worse than Mercurious's. So anyway, that's the articulation. Now let's move on to the weapons and accessories. So Vayeate's one and only real accessory is the giant beam cannon on his back. As you can see, the backpack takes up quite a bit of space. I've got a little rack here where I can hold the beam cannon. And it's got a little bar right here that goes up and down. And I added a hinge so it can open up. You can see the little reactor in there. And it closes back. It doesn't really like snap into place or anything. This bar just kind of holds it in with friction. And then you've got the little rack down here. Unfortunately, the only way I could put it on there is by taking off this little piece and then sliding that off and then just connecting those back together again for the beam cannon. And the way Vayeate is, part of the beam cannon is attached down here on the backpack. It's the way it was on the 1:144 scale kit, so I decided to do it that way on my kit as well. And the two halves simply plug together like so, relatively easily. It's got a little clear jewel right there for the sight. This thing can rotate at the handle right there. And then we've got this energy cable, which will plug in on the bottom of the beam cannon right there, and the other end will plug in on the bottom of the backpack, just like so. And after a bit of fiddling around with it, he holds the beam cannon. It's not really all that heavy, not nearly as heavy as Mercurious's crash shield, so he can hold it at pretty much any angle he needs to. So I don't think that's really going to be too much of a problem, the weight of this thing. And of course, like on Mercurius, I implemented the removable faceplate on Vayeate as well. There you go. And for Vayeate's bonus accessory, the damaged torso, all I have to do is take the arms, legs, and head off and switch them out with the new torso, and there we go. Now if Bandai would just make a Master Grade Wing Zero TV version, you'd have a nice little diorama here. Basically, I just cast a new torso exactly like the original one, and then beat it up with a Dremel tool, put all those dents and dings and scratches and all that in it. Just used a little Revoltech joint for kind of the, I guess, inner frame of the shoulder joint. Had a little hip joint nub down there. Then airbrushed it black, did a little bit of dry brushing, did a wash, did a little bit of silver in there. And there you go. In retrospect, I probably should have made a second head as well and put a little bit of burning on it, but in the show it was mostly the torso that was damaged, so I guess it'll do for a nice little last minute throw-in accessory. And for a quick comparison, here's the Vayeate next to its twin suit, the Mercurius. And for a size comparison, here's the Master Grade Wing Gundam. And of course the cousin to the Mercurius and Vayeate, the Virgo. Well, that about does it for my review of my 1:100 scale scratch-built Vayeate. And like pretty much all of my other scratch-build kits, it looks halfway decent, but the stability is less than desirable. Although, like on my Mercurius, I'm very, very happy with the posability articulation. I think it's a vast improvement over my Virgo and Virgo 2 kits in terms of those areas. But the stability, particularly the hip joints, just didn't work out as well as I'd hoped they would. So that'll be something I can work on and improve on my next Oz Project kit. So the backpack works out pretty well. It doesn't close all the, well, it closes all the way, but it doesn't stay closed all the way, which I probably could have put like a magnet or something in there to keep that closed. I use magnets for a bunch of other stuff on this kit. The beam cannon, I think, works out really, really well. The little mesh energy cable is nice. He holds it very, very well. And I really like the halfway burnt torso that I made. That's my favorite part of the kit, in fact. And just overall, I'm pretty pleased with the way it turned out. And again, not a perfect kit, but then again, no kit I've ever made is perfect, and no kit I will ever make will likely be perfect. So there's always room for improvement, and that is something to look forward to. So that about does it for this review, and with that, I'll see you guys next time.